Right, welcome ladies and gents. Not what I had on my bingo card for today. So Tom Holland says he only wants to play Spider-Man again if it does justice to the character. And I quote, "I want to protect his legacy, so I won't make another one for the sake of making another one," the actor recently said. Now he did also say that he would be a fool not to play Spider-Man again, but he wants to ensure that they're right. I like Tom Holland. I think he's a pretty likeable dude. Not really been in a lot of stuff outside of Spider-Man. But he's a likeable guy. And I do think he'll go pretty far in Hollywood. I think he's a pretty decent actor as well. Spider-Man No Way Home, he actually showed quite a lot of range, actually. I think he did a bloody good job. But this is interesting, because we're seeing a pretty heavy move from actors and directors and things like that away from Marvel. Now, I'm not saying Tom Holland is distancing himself, but this is a pretty good bargaining tactic anyway, because, I mean, if you're looking at Marvel movies, his is the most profitable for quite a while. So he has a pretty big bargaining chip with Marvel. For future contracts as well as future movies. Now, obviously, he is working with Sony as well. I understand that. But he still does have pretty big bargaining power. And I wonder if that is what he's doing here. So let's take a look. Hit subscribe if you're new here, folks. Hope you're having a great day. Wherever you are in the world. Let me know where you are. I'm curious. So, Tom Holland said he would be a fool not to play Spider-Man again, but admitted he would only do it if the storyline does justice to the character. The actor opened up to Collider at a recent press conference with the Critics' Choice Association about potentially returning for a fourth installment in the beloved Marvel franchise, especially after the 2021 blockbuster hit Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, he does actually say, I mean, they are in conversations, apparently. He's actively in conversations at the moment. And he says that's basically what he opens up with. All I can say is that we have been actively engaging in conversations about what it could potentially look like for a fourth rendition of my character. Whether or not we can find a way to do justice to the character is another thing. And I did wonder where they were going to go with it, to be fair. Because, I mean, at the end of that movie, I mean, no one knew who he was. So, I mean, you've got to introduce him again. It was a weird. This is the issue with multiverse stuff. This is the issue with it. Not that movie was probably the best way to do it, quite frankly. But you got to round it out in a way, or they seemingly felt like they had to round it in a way, which kind of it was kind of done with that character, you know. It was genuinely kind of done. So I don't know where they're going to go with it. And I think maybe he's struggling with that as well. And again, that's what he says, you know. Whether we can do justice to the character is another thing. Yeah, makes sense. So he continued further. I feel very protective over Spider-Man. I feel very, very lucky that we were able to work on a franchise that got better with each movie. That got more successful with each movie, which I think is really rare. And I want to protect his legacy. So I won't make another one for the sake of making another one. It will have to be worth the while of the character. And that makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. I mean, what else are you going to, you know, every single film got better and better and better. And not only from there, this is quite unusual now. And maybe he's looking at the string of Marvel flops and going, you know what? Maybe the jig's up. Maybe the game's up. Maybe the future for these kind of movies is done now. Because that could very well be part of it as well. You've got to remember, there's a significant string of, you know, box office disappointments from Marvel at this point in time. So I can imagine they'd be a bit like, well, he would anyway, specifically be a bit like, you know what? I don't know if I want to come back and ruin that legacy of, I don't know, good income, good box office. Is it worth it? Now, so the actor said of the iconic character, If we can figure that out, I would be a fool not to put that suit back on again, because I owe everything to Spider-Man. I love the character and the people I get to work with, so I would love to tell another story, but I'll only tell it if we can find the right one. And he'd also said something else before. So Tom Holland said to the Hollywood Reporter earlier in June for like this cover story, basically saying that he apparently had already several Spider-Man development meetings before the WGA strike. And at that time he said the first few meetings were about why would we do this again? Money, obviously. And I think we found the reason why. Yeah. Money, obviously. But he said he's a little apprehensive about it. And said further, there's a bit of stigma about the fourth one in all franchises. I feel like we hit a home run with our first franchise. And there's a part of me, that's interesting, with our first franchise. It sounded like they're separating it. And there's a part of me that wants to walk away with my head held high and pass the baton to the next lucky kid that gets to bring this character to life. Like, I mean, the thing about Spider-Man, he works in, I mean, he can work in all eras. He doesn't have to be a set age. He can work in all of them, actually. But doesn't that sound like they're separating it? I feel like we hit a home run with our first franchise. Well, it's not going to be a different franchise, mate. It's still Spider-Man. Does sound like they're separating it up, though. The potential, anyway. So there you go. I mean, it's. I mean, again, they say here, Spider-Man. I've forgotten how much it made. Spider-Man: No Way Home. $1.91 billion. 1.91. He has such massive bargaining power. Again, Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige has confirmed they're working to develop another Spider-Man sequel. I can't remember when what ones he'd signed on to up until now. Because if he hasn't signed a clear-cut contract, my God, this boy's got some bargaining power right there. He can lay down some big demands. Because Marvel is screwed. This is the highest grossing Marvel movie for ages. Since Endgame, isn't it? God damn, they haven't had a $1 billion hit for a long time. And again, $1 billion is great, of course. But, you know, it shouldn't be the ultimate goal always. They need to downsize the budgets. But look, I found this interesting. Is he leaving? Is he teasing the potential? I don't know. Because he's not exactly lining up with loads of other films, is he? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop them down below. I think he's got some bargaining power here with Marvel. Spider-Man 4. What do you think? Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.